Hello my crochet friends and welcome to my channel. Today I am excited to share with you a super easy step-by-step tutorial on how to crochet a pair of cozy slippers. Some months ago I posted a short video of my crochet slippers, and ever since I posted that short video I've been getting messages and comments to share a full detailed video on it. So that's why I'm making this video today. My other crochet slippers were in regular stitches, but this is a new textured design. These slippers are perfect for lounging around the house and make a great gift for friends and family, especially in winters. Do stay with me and do not skip, because I will tell you a key rule to make them in any size. So watch the video till the end. Let's get started. To make these slippers, you'll need the following materials: a double knit or 4-ply yarn, and you need 2 skeins of contrasting colors. I'm using light and dark shades of brown, a 4 crochet hook, a thread cutter or scissors, a tapestry needle to weave in the ends, a stitch marker, and you'll also need a measuring tape or ruler to measure the size. Now let's start making the body of the slipper. To start, I will first crochet the body of the slipper, which will be a big rectangle. Take the main yarn color for your slipper and leave a long tail and make a slip knot. I'm making an adult slipper, and for that I will need 42 chains. The slipper which I am going to make is for those who fit a size 42 or number 8 shoe, and I'm using a 4 hook. So now we will make 42 chains. I've made 42 chains, and now to begin my work I will add another chain. You will always add another chain no matter how many chains you made. Now in the second chain from hook I will make a half double crochet. This is row 1, and I will make half double crochets in all the chains, and it will be 42 half double crochets. So row 1 is chain 1 and then 1 half double crochet in all. I will make half double crochets in all the 42 chains and be back. I have made 42 half double crochets. Now chain 1 and then turn your work, and do this for every new row. Now row 2. In row 2 I will be making half double crochets differently. Instead of making them in both loops, I'll make 1 half double crochet in the front loop of the first stitch and the next half double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and I will keep alternating this pattern of front loop half double crochet and back loop half double crochet until I reach the second last stitch, and the last stitch will be made in both the loops. Let me show you. These are the stitches, and I will be making the first half double crochet in the front loop here, and the second half double crochet in the back loop here, and then again in the front loop of the other stitch, and then again in the back loop. So I'll yarn over and insert my hook in the first stitch. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So this is my first half double crochet of row 2, and I'm going to mark this with a stitch marker so that I remember it when I make row 3 and I reach the end. Stitch will be in the back loop here, this one. And third half double crochet again in the front loop here. Let me show you a bit closely. This is the front loop, of the next stitch, in which I will make the third half double crochet here. And now the fourth half double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch. This, you can see it's on towards the back side. Now the next stitch will again be in the front loop, and then the next one in the back loop. The next stitch will again be in the front loop, and then the next one in the back loop. And keep alternating these front loop and back loop half double crochet until stitch number 41, which is the second last stitch in my pattern. And then the last stitch will be done in both the loops. So I will complete my row and be back to you in the end. Now I'm on the second last stitch, and I'm going to make it in the front loop. The row will always start from the front loop, and always the second last stitch will be in the front loop if you are making the same pattern as I am. And now the last loop, and now the last half double crochet. This will be made in both the loops. These two loops in the end, you can see them now. By making the last stitch in both the loops, will give it a nice finishing. You can see all the loops on the hook, and now I'll pull through all. So now row 2 is completed. You can mark the stitch with a stitch marker if you like to, and the second stitch in the back loop of the next stitch. Again the front loop, and then the back loop half double crochet. Front loop half double crochet, again front loop half double crochet, and then back loop half double crochet. This alternating of the front loop and back loop of half double crochet will create a beautiful texture. So keep repeating the pattern of front loop half double crochet and back loop half double crochet in 41 stitches, and the 42nd stitch in both loops. I'll be back to you after I make all 21 rows. This is the end of my row 21, and this is the last stitch. I've done making the last stitch. At this point you can check the size of your slipper. You have to wrap this rectangle piece around your foot and check the width of the foot. If it fits around your foot nice and snug, it's fine. Otherwise, if it's too tight, you can add another row, and if it's too loose, you can make one row less. You can always add or subtract the number of rows according to the width of your foot. Just measure the width of your foot and then see how many rows you will need. Let me check the size. This is 8.5 inches long and 7 inches wide. Now attach the second color of the yarn, and this will be row number 22. Now row 22 is not made in half double crochets. Instead, I will make it in single crochet. Cut off any extra threads and tie the ends to secure the thread. Because this was exactly the size I wanted, that's why I'm making this row in single crochets, but you can even make this row in half double crochet if the size was too tight for you, so that adding this row will increase the size. Otherwise you can just make it in single crochet like me. And while making the single crochet, you can hide these tails in the stitches. I have to make one single crochet on every stitch. And I'll make it till the end, and I'll have 22 single crochets. So this is the end of my row number 22, and only a few stitches are left. And I'll be back after making all the stitches. You can see my row 22 is completed. Now I will turn it on the other side and make a row of single crochets on the other side. Just chain one and pull out a long tail and cut off the yarn. This tail will be used to sew the heel part of the slipper. Now I'll make a row of single crochets on the other side. I'll attach the yarn to the hook by making a slip knot. Now I'll start from the first stitch here. On this side also I have to make 42 single crochets, one on every stitch. So I'll complete my row and join you later. I'm at the end of row 23, and now this is the last stitch. Now we made a row of single crochets on this side, and then we made on the other side, and now I will be making single crochets on the sides, and one on top of each row. Now I will chain one because this is a corner, so I will just chain one. So we have here 23 rows, so I'll be making 23 single crochets, one on top of each row. I'll make single crochets till the end and join you. this is my last stitch, and I'll slip stitch into the first single crochet of the last row we made, and now chain one and pull out the yarn and cut off, and tie the tails together to secure the thread. With this long tail we will sew the slipper's heel part, and this long tail from the foundation chain will be used to sew the toe part of the slipper. Now the body of my slipper is ready, and I'll first make the heel part and then the toe part. So this is the side we will be making the heel of the slipper. I'll be inserting this brown tail which we pulled out before in the tapestry needle and join the two sides together. Just match it together like this. And pass the needle through the last stitch on the corner, so that both the ends will be joined, and then it will be easier for us to sew them together. You have to make whip stitches, and for that take back loop of the tail facing you and the front loop of the other side, and hide these little tail ends in between the stitches while you make the whip stitches. You see, I'm taking the back loop of the side which was towards me, and I'm passing the needle from underneath these tail ends and then into the front loop of on the other side. Again, back loop of the stitch facing towards me, and then front loop of the stitch on the other side. So keep making these whip stitches until you reach the halfway of the heel's length. I'll be making around 8 to 9 stitches. You can see here closely. On one side we have a front loop and on the other we have a back loop. And now this rounded section of the heel will be closed by making running stitches, just the way we close our caps and beanies. We will not make whip stitches here because this will not give a nice look to the slipper. The heel of the foot has to be rounded. That's why we will make running stitches in this place. That's why we'll make running stitches in these stitches. So I will just pass the needle through every stitch here. And to close this end, I'll just pull the thread tightly to cinch the end. You can see the opening is closed very tightly now. It's having a nice rounded end for our heels. Now pass the needle on the inner side of the shoe. And on this side tie a few knots, and then pass the thread from between the stitches and then cut off, so that you will not have to weave it in the end. Now turn the shoe on the right side again. Cut off any extra threads if there are. Now that the heel part is made, we will close the toe part. For this, we will take the long thread we had from the foundation chain. I'll thread this into a tapestry needle. I'll insert this thread into a tapestry needle. And here, I will just make running stitches from every stitch. I'll just pass the needle through every stitch on this side. The same way we do for caps and beanies. And in the end, I will just pull the thread tight to close it. You have to keep this in mind that whenever you make these kind of slippers which are made from a single rectangle piece, always do the heel part first and then the toes, because this is how it gives it a very nice and finished look. After making running stitches in all these on this side, pass the needle through the last stitch on the other side to match both the ends of the toe part, and then pull the thread tightly to close the opening. Like you can see here, I'm pulling the thread very tightly, and and you can see the opening has closed. After closing the toe part, pass the needle through the center and bring it on the inside and tie a few knots. Pass it through the stitches a few times and cut off the thread. Make the shoe right side up again. Insert the dark thread again into the tapestry needle. Now we will close the upper part of the slipper. For the upper part, we will close the same way we did for the heels. That is, we will insert the thread, we will join the thread from the inside and tie the tail so that the thread is secured, and then I will make whip stitches taking front loop of one stitch and back loop of the stitch on the other side. The same we did for closing the heels. Attach yarn from the inside of the slipper and tie the ends to secure the thread. You see, I've tied the thread here, and now I will insert the needle into the back loop of the stitch which is on my side and the front loop of the stitch on the other side. This is the front loop here. Again, the back loop of the stitch on my side and the front loop of the stitch on the other side. So we have to make these stitches until we reach half of the length of the slipper, or it depends how much you want, how much part of your foot you want to be covered. I want most of my foot to be covered. That's why I'll be making around 20 to 22 stitches. If you want the top of your foot to be covered less, you can make a few stitches lesser than me. You can put this on your foot and check how much part you need to be closed. So I'm making it till stitch number 20, which is almost half of the length of the slipper. So now 20 stitches are done and I'll be closing it here. You can choose how much you want to be closed. Now bring the needle on the inner side of the slipper and tie a few times on the inner side. Just tie 2 to 3 knots. Like this, the thread will be secured. And then pass it through the stitches and then cut off the extra thread. Now this slipper is ready. We have to make one more the same way. Now let me show you the length of the slipper. This slipper is almost 9 inches. This is 8.5 inches long. It's almost 9, but it's very stretchy and it can easily fit a foot size, a foot which is more than 10 inches long. And it's perfect for adults who fit a size 8 or 42 number shoe. You can see here on this mannequin. I will show you the stretched slipper size. This is my second slipper. You can see it's reaching till 10 inches. So this is a very good adult size. It can easily fit a foot of 10.5 inches, and it's still stretchy. It can stretch even more. You can see the beautiful texture which was created by repeating the front and the back loop half double crochets. And you can also make it with regular half double crochets if you like to. Here's how it looks from all sides. This pattern is very nice for making slippers because of its textured look and its stretchiness. If you want, you can make 8 rows of front and back loop half double crochets and then 5 rows with regular half double crochet for the sole if you don't want the sole to be textured, and then again 8 rows of front and the back loop half double crochets. And now, after completing the shoe, decorate it with embellishments of your choice. You can add handmade labels, handmade tags, or big buttons. And you can even leave them plain if you're making it for men. The decoration is totally up to you. And if you're making for little girls, you can add fancy buttons or even pom-poms would look nice. You can add tiny pom-poms here or beads, whatever you find, whatever you prefer. If you've been watching this far, let me tell you the key rule to make it in any size. Just make the same number of chains as your shoe number with a 4 mm crochet hook and use a 4-ply yarn, this like the one which I used, and you will get the perfect size for you. I'll be adding these handmade tags, one on the right side of one shoe and one on the left side of the other shoe. I'll be using a hot glue. You can even sew them on. This will mark my slippers at the right side and the left side. Otherwise, you can wear them on any side. I've added tags on my slippers. My crochet slippers are absolutely ready. I hope you liked the pattern and found it easy to follow and enjoyed making these slippers with me. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and would definitely try my pattern and make a pair of these cozy slippers for yourself or your loved ones. And before going, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crochet tutorials and tips. And for any queries, you can write to me in the comment section and I'll reply you back. Thank you for watching and happy crocheting.